Hello everyone, welcome back to more Terra Mystica. Believe it or not, my first game is already finished. They weren't kidding when they said the people in Fjords League tend to play faster. If you look at, well, I guess I can't show you the info tab except in the finished game, but I can go look at it. How long did we end up? I mean, okay, it's been like 9 days, so you can tell it's been pretty short, but wow. Like, there's an 8-hour grace period before your timer goes off. And 2 players, one of them me, never took more than 8 hours to make a move. One guy only went over once for 30 minutes, and one guy went over for a total of 8 hours over the entire tournament. So people really are playing quite a bit faster, which I appreciate. It did mean that I made I don't remember in this game or in others or all of them or what. Oh yeah, I definitely made at least one blunder in this game, just due to like playing more quickly, I think. I was just kind of getting used to firing off moves and that I already had planned, and something came in that didn't look disruptive to my plan, so I just followed my plan. And then I looked at it for a bit longer, and I was like, oh, but something even better than my plan came up that I was sure wouldn't happen, and I should have taken it. But it's just like everyone was playing so fast that I did it. Anyway, this is this is game 1. My other games are all still in round 5, but I forget. I think one of them is near the end of round 5, one's near the beginning, and I don't remember what the deal is with the third one. But so they should all be done by the end of the month at the very latest, probably in a week or two. So that'll be nice. We'll be finished in plenty of time to start the actual league season. So as you can see, well, maybe you can't actually. This is the game in which I was second player. I chose witches, and you can refer back to the faction selection video to see why. I have some recollection that this is the game where I kind of had this plan of opening temple and seeing if I could power out a stronghold in round 3, I think. The idea was, you know, there's early air income, which is good for witches, because you just need 1 priest to get up here, and you'll get that from your early temple. And also, the endgame scoring is clusters, which rewards kind of your witch's stronghold ability of just putting dwellings all over the board. So I picked witches, seemed fine. I don't remember the faction selection video, but I probably talked about fakirs as being playable. Cluster scoring is one of the strongest indicators for fakirs, I think. Just because their carpet flight makes them so good at securing disconnected sections without having to pay for shipping. And importantly, unlike witches, if fakirs, when they like hop over a space, okay, here's good from here to here, say with carpet flight, that's actually connected, right? Whereas as witches, if I do like a witch's ride from here to here, or to here or whatever, I have to get that connected via shipping by the end of the game for it to count for cluster scoring. So that's one thing fakirs don't have to pay for, which is nice. And 4th player took red Ice Maidens with Air 2. So Ice Maidens are, I guess, the faction with the most customization, right? Because they pick a color and a favor tile. I understand Air 2 is very popular for Ice Maidens because income tiles in general are popular for Ice Maidens because you get those before round 1. And I was a little surprised at first. I don't remember if I talked about this in faction selection or not. I was a little surprised at first to hear that Air 2 is so popular, because it's not that popular in income tile in general. You'd usually prefer like Earth 2 or Fire 1. But I get the idea of why it's useful for the Ice Maidens, which is that you don't typically, I don't know, like Earth 2 gives you another worker and another power, which is fine, but like you usually are not starved for workers in round 1 because you start with 6. And it's more like you're trying to find enough digs to spend them. And so I think that in general in round 1, everyone is kind of starved for power actions, and so getting power is good. And especially this helps you take like a a the double dig more quickly than you otherwise could, perhaps before anyone has enough power, unless they're playing like mermaids or engineers, and also took a favor bonus tile. So I don't know. Round 1 power actions are very good, and so this tile makes sense to me. I was not thrilled to see them pick red, but it's not the end of the world. It looks like they kind of more want to fight with fakirs than fight with me. I don't know. But since for ice factions, the 3 neighboring terrains are all just as good, that is to say, although they picked red, red is no better for them than gray after their starting dwellings, because it still costs a spade to turn even red into ice. So the problem is that gray is something they're just as happy to take as they are to take red, which I'm not thrilled about. But at least they didn't take gray and then just really fight me for green. So what about bonus tiles? I did take the priest. That was what I expected I would get. I remember we talked about this in the faction selection video. I figured the spade and the stronghold would be taken, and I would be left with these 4 and 5, I guess. And I picked priest. And the idea for this game is to just, like, I don't know, try to get some economy going, get a stronghold when you can, preferably while you have the stronghold scoring tile, and try to build up a big economy after starting with a temple. I guess, like, so let's see how it goes. Everyone starts the leech party over here. By the way, something that I don't remember if I covered in faction selection that I discovered during this tournament is that the Fjords map, like, I know in the abstract that there's like a lot of contention for space in these tiles, in these like big slabs of land, but it was brutal. Every game, starting just in round 1, I was like, at least one player is not getting a square they desperately need. And in some of the games, that player looked like it was going to be me. In some games, it looked like it was going to be somebody else. But, like, that does not happen on base map. On base map, you know, you can find places to go where you're going to be pretty happy. But there's so little space that everyone really wants a lot of on this map. And you can choose to place on the outside, but you're really isolating yourself. And it's often not even such great terrain. So everyone often goes in the middle. So it was really exciting. I had a lot of fun fighting for terrain and jockeying for position, so to speak. But even here, I'm like, I don't know. Actually, I'm feeling pretty good about this layout right now, right? I've got this area more or less to myself. This looks okay. Neither of these guys playing red and yellow want this blue tile, so... And, like, red could get gray, but that doesn't look like a very high priority anytime soon. And no one really wants this gray either, so it seems like I might actually have all the space I need. And Ice Maidens might not. Like, I don't know. This space seems very difficult for them to work with. Was it the first one they placed or the second? Oh, they were player 4s. They placed them both at once, I see. So after that, we're E7, F8, and C5. Yeah, so the 3 of us, we all placed over here, and then we all placed over here. Okay, sure. Anyway, yeah, so we all got trading posts, and the 3 of us grabbed Earth 1. I don't know, like, you've certainly seen me choose not to take Earth 1 when it was available to me in some games. But I don't think this is a game where that's a good idea. Especially, like, I'm planning to build my stronghold, which places a lot of dwellings, and I'm planning to compete heavily on network, which means I'll have a lot of dwellings, and it's a temple round, so I'd really like to be rewarded for it. So I think Earth 1 is a no-brainer here, and everybody who could grabbed it. And Ice Maidens took this opportunity to dig out the brown space. Before Fakirs could get to it, I guess. They've got C6 whenever they want it, and D2 is probably fine for them. but E6 is like at risk. So they took it first. Seems reasonable. And then what? Oh, I took, I guess, the single dig? Ugh. Yeah. I took the single dig action here and got E8. So this was, it was like kind of a great round one, honestly, right? I got my temple, and I got to build 2 dwellings with it, which is pretty cool. I sent my priest for 3 to air first, because what's the rush? And that's the end of round one. Fakirs, I thought they might. They opened a double temple. That was what they wanted the stronghold scoring tile for, just the 2 workers. For almost every other faction, double temple is not very appealing, because to build a trading post and then a temple costs about as much as the sanctuary, you know, but you have 1 fewer dwelling than if you just like upgraded this to a sanctuary. And so most factions, when you're building like 2 religious buildings in a round, or like the second one you build, you're usually not dying to get more priests. You're doing it because you want another favor tile. And also, it like makes your building worth more power, which is nice for towns and for leads and so on. But fakirs are in the position of actually wanting more priests. Now, of course, darklings are also in that position, but their sanctuary gives 2 priests, and that's like their superpower. So for them, sanctuary is still a no-brainer, a standout. But for fakirs, because here, in case you haven't seen fakirs, I talked about carpet flight, but their superpower is they can spend a priest to skip over 1 tile of any kind, not just water, or not just river, I guess, when building or terraforming. So it's much like a dwarf tunnel action, but it costs 1 priest instead of 2 workers. And they can upgrade it, not to be cheaper, but to reach further, either with their stronghold ability, which upgrades the range to 2, or they can grab a town tile that upgrades it by 1. You can combine those to have a range of 3, or if you took 2 of the town tile, you get a range of 4, but that seems somewhat extreme. So anyway, the point is, fakirs really love priests, and so a double temple opening from them is quite good. Whereas for most factions it's bad, and it's a temple scoring round in which they can get enough workers to build 2 temples. So I think it's a very good round 1 for them as well. For darklings, it was fine, I'm sure. And ice maidens, I don't know. Who knows what ice maidens want to do? So what am I going to try to do for this round? Oh, let's actually go back and look at what bonus tile should I take anyway. How did the ordering go? I guess darklings passed and took sanctuary scoring, and that left me getting dwelling scoring? No, I took the dig. Oh, the dig is there. Oh, because I haven't built my last dwelling yet. It didn't open a turn. It didn't open a it didn't insert a turn in between those actions for whatever reason. Okay. So I went a bit slower. Ah, yes. I dug slowly here as well. Instead of dig and build, I dug and then built. And that, combined with the priest action that I had, let me pass last, getting the dig action from Ice Maidens. Nice. And I had talked about getting a stronghold this turn, and I have the resources to do it here, in fact. And so I think I must have done it, right? It's 4 workers and 8 and 6 coins, no? Yeah. I'd like to have more workers so I can build a dwelling, but I'm pretty sure getting down my stronghold, and like I even have a dig available. That should be great, right? So what happens? I'm doing something. Oh, I sent my priest to Earth to get ready for the coin income round. And then trading post, dig, Trading post. Oh, because the trading post scoring round, that's pretty reasonable. Yeah. I don't know. It might have been better to... No, because if you build a stronghold right away, you just have so few coins. I don't know. But you get dwellings for free? Like, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I'm not sure. This might have been a good play. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I was catering too much to the scoring, to the round scoring, and I should have been working more on my economy. But I don't know. 2 trading posts is pretty good for your economy too, right? 4 coins and 2 power per turn. Which if I'd gotten a stronghold, it's 2 power per turn, but also the worker from the dwelling that I still have, plus a worker and 2 coins, sort of, for the dwelling that I get every round. So this produces slightly more income in a way than a stronghold. Not like it's not strictly comparable because stronghold gives you the jumping ability, but the fact that the round scoring encourages this is also, I think, a perfectly fine reason to go for it. And also, as witches, you know, once you get the stronghold up, you kind of have, like, not unlimited workers, but you're really gated by coins because you get a lot of workers from your stronghold. So, I don't know. I think it might have been reasonable to build a stronghold here. Oh, what am I saying? I can't build a stronghold. It costs, yes, I currently possess enough resources to build a stronghold, but I do not possess a trading post to upgrade to one. Okay, that's what's going on. Yeah, okay. So I got the 2 trading posts, and did I like convert? Did I get workers so that I could build here this round? It looks like I did. Yeah, once again, I was last to pass, and I grabbed the worker power action and built a dwelling, and somehow I arranged to also get bonus 6, which is great. Like, who had it? The Darklings did, right? Yeah. So it's sort of puzzling. What happened to Ice Maidens? Why didn't they end up with it? Ice Maidens were making weird plays all game that I was, like, not able to follow what was going on with. So what order did things happen here? Yeah, Ice Maidens passed and took bonus 9. Because they don't... Yeah, they don't have a big building. And they do have a number of dwellings, so they wanted points for that. And the 2 coins are probably worth about as much as 2 workers at this point. But, like, they passed with 15 coins. They just don't get it. I couldn't understand what's happening here. Like, why not build some trading posts? Obviously, like, if you build 2 trading posts, you don't have a lot of workers next turn. Fine. But, like, 1? Don't you... I don't know what's happening, really. Don't you want that income? Ugh. So anyway, the upshot of this is that... oh, and also... Fakirs also could have taken this bonus tile, but they didn't want it either. They wanted, I think, the priest, which makes sense. No, they took the cult step. Just weirder and weirder, you know? Why not a priest? Don't you love priests? I guess they love coins. So I'm kind of setting myself up in this position to be the only player with coins. With my trading posts. So that's the main advantage I see. By the way, I think Darklings, like, made a mistake here for the reasons we were talking about. Like, their sanctuary is their best feature, and by building a second temple instead... Oh, also, like, they had the sanctuary scoring tile as well. So they... instead of upgrading a trading post to a temple and then a dwelling to a trading post, I think it would have been way better to upgrade the temple they already had to a sanctuary. Oh well. So there we go. Round 3. Oh, and everyone spent some digs. Ice Maidens came in here, which doesn't really bother me. I dug G4, and Fakirs took G5. Oh, am I? I forgot. I wrote some stuff in my notes. We should go back and look at this. I had a note at the end of round 1. What did I write? I said round 1, turn 6. How can I tell what turn it is now? Yeah. Here. So, yeah, it was right after Darklings had passed. And so if we jump to here and go ahead by like 2. Yeah, here it is. It's my turn. This is the moment I was thinking about. And I really wanted this bonus tile, actually. I wrote, I wanted bonus 2 for my stronghold and an extra dig, because the cult step was going to get me to 8 air, I think. Yeah. But also, sneaking in an extra worker is really nice, right? If I take the worker action and then build a dwelling, I kind of like get one more worker income this round. And also, the stronghold plan that I put together is like kind of questionable. I had this idea that we talked about on camera during faction selection about how I might get a stronghold round 2. And the other thing I was looking at is like, I'm not sure if the other factions, the Ice Maidens being the only ones left, do they really want bonus 2, or would they rather have something else? Because if they want bonus 2, it's just silly for me to pass early to secure it. But I did calculate it out, and this actually does give me, I think, if I can take this action and get the worker bonus action or power action again, this was enough for me to get out my stronghold in round 2. But nothing else was really going to work. And so my question was like, can I really get action, the worker action, like twice? Take it once now and then again next round? I don't have that much power. I would need a lot of leads for that, right? So eventually I decided, like, let's just do the boring thing. I'll build another dwelling and I'll get some trading posts instead. Okay, there you go. That's what I had to say about that round, about that decision. And my next note, let's just say it out loud to remind myself, is in round 4. I didn't know which turn in round 4. So what are we doing this round? Well, it's a digging round, so it would be nice to take some digs. What in the hell? Windows, get out of here. Right, it's a digging round, and it's an earth round, and that was, you know, I'm in nice cult positions so far, which is cool. But oh, how did I end up with this? I thought I was talking about wanting bonus 2 last round. Oh, that was for this round. Yeah, sure. That round's already happened. I confused myself by walking so far back in time. And by the way, I'm like already ready to cash in this town if I want it. And I'm not really sure. Like, I think obviously it's preferable in general to build your towns in town rounds. But you know, it's just 5 points. And the economic boost that you get from building a town amplified over 3 rounds should be enough to outdo the 5 points. So I decided I was going to build my town this round. And anyway, I didn't really have much choice because I wanted to build my sanctuary, stronghold that is, since I have also the stronghold scoring tile. So that's the main thing we're doing this round, is getting a stronghold. It's just like, you know, anything else. A dig looked kind of hard to come by. I'm probably sending my priest to Earth for more coins. And not sure if I convert workers or power to my coins to build the stronghold, but that's basically the whole round. Oh no! Of course, I take the coin town, yes. But first, I get screwed on G4. This is the first time this season, but not the only time, that I overlook just how easy it is for Darklings to dig. Well, actually, we should back up a little more. Like, this is how things look at the beginning of round 3. My town's still looking in pretty good shape, right? I spent my dig here. And then Darklings just spent 3 digs on it and took it away from me. 2 digs. So I should have, I think, dug E4 instead. Because Darklings don't really want to spend 3 digs here. And I don't think Ice Maidens want to spend 2 on E4, but maybe they do? I was like somehow worried about Ice Maidens spending 3 digs on E4 more than I was worried about Darklings spending 2 digs on G4, which is clearly backwards. It's so easy for Darklings to dig, and it's kind of hard for Ice Maidens to do it. So I should have taken E4 first, or spent my cult dig there. So instead, suddenly my town looks extremely difficult. Like, I'm going to have to bridge and dig out a desert, which is the opposite of where witches want to be, if I'm going to get a town here. Now, I don't necessarily have to build a town there. I've invested a temple, which is kind of a lot, but ultimately it's only 2 power worth of dwellings. I could perhaps build somewhere else. But where would that be? It would kind of have to be like I2 to I5, maybe? I don't know. I didn't end up doing that. Maybe I was afraid of I4? I'm not sure. Like, because I4 is not that hard for fakirs to dig out. But, you know, looking back on it, I think it would have been better to abandon this very difficult town space and work on a much more comfortable space here, since I have Witch's Ride to fly to I2 anyway. But I didn't do that. I just sent my priest to Earth, built a stronghold, and then something? Oh, I used my stronghold power to build on F5. Yeah. I kind of just had the idea of like, hey, let's put a dwelling here and get a little leech while the fakirs are building this way. Did I do anything else this round? No. I just took a priest. Took the priest pass tile. Why the priest pass tile? It was because of shipping, I'm pretty sure. I have quite a lot of coins from, I mean, everyone has a lot of coins from the cult income. I also have a trading post, which is more than anyone else can say. But my idea was to try to use this dwelling round to as an excuse to get down some dwellings. And if I have 2 shipping, I can like build here and then here. Or something like that. Or E4 and then B4. You know, ideas like that. So let's stop and see like how are things going right now? Who's winning? It's hard to tell. Everyone has pretty similar point totals. Economies look okay all around. We all have some scoring options. The Darklings more than most because they have faction scoring and water and earth. Whereas Fakirs really only have their faction ability as scoring, but it's still quite a lot. Since they're producing basically 8 points a turn from their priests. And they have a bunch of economy. I don't know. Their economy is okay. My economy is a bit bigger than it looks because I'm also getting 2 coins in a worker, sort of, from my stronghold because it produces a dwelling for free. And Ice Maiden's similar. So I think everyone's pretty close at this point. If I had to pick a loser, it would be Darklings because they don't have a lot of structures, so they're gonna have trouble competing on network and stuff. And also, the structures they have look difficult to connect. They need E4 basically, but I want E4, and they don't have any shipping yet, and it's right next to me. I mean, because not only is E4 like the only tile I can take if I want to try to finish my town, it's also like very helpful for connecting. It's not mandatory. I could go to C2, B3, or actually, I guess B3, B4, F5. No, that doesn't reach. Huh. I mean, I could take C4, but it's very expensive. E4 would be better. But it's a dwelling round. I think I managed to get E4 this round, right? Yeah, I do. In fact, I take it right away with just a single shovel action. Costs me a bunch of power, but that's fine. I would have liked the coins as well, but that's what my stronghold is for so I don't need that many coins for all my dwellings. And securing E4 was very important. It connected me up pretty well, whereas everything else would be very difficult to connect. But as I said, I don't think during the game I was thinking enough about these tiles making a town. It might have been difficult to get the digs for them, but like it's only 3 digs. And this is 4 digs. 4 digs and a bridge. And also, like, kind of it's hard to get up to 7 power in this area. So, I don't know. I think I maybe should have given up on this town area and gone down here. Maybe I was just too afraid of Fakir's digging this out. Or maybe I just didn't think about it. I don't remember, honestly. But I don't know. I guess like this dwelling could have been here, and this dwelling could have been here. Because remember, I spent a dig on each, and then I'm just like 2 digs short of escaping into the mainland, so to speak. With a nice, comfortable town location where I can build like 2 trading posts, probably a 3rd eventually once this is built. Or like a sanctuary or fire too, if I really had to. So this seems like it would have been a better approach for me. I was just too laser focused on this temple I had built, I think. Oh, and I remarked also the note I took about round 4 was about G4, which is I was surprised that they took it, but not exactly because it costs them 2 digs, but like they spent 2 digs to get a single tile, and it doesn't even seem like that great a tile, right? Wouldn't they have been happier to use some shipping to get over here, where there's like a free space? I don't know. I thought they were going to go this way, is why I thought it was safe to big G4. I just didn't imagine them trying to build this town when this one seems so appealing to me. Anyway, so that was that. Anything else happen in this round? I built F5 with my... Oh, did we backed up too far? I see. Yeah, sorry about all the jumping around. I'm just like tabbing, trying to figure out where I left off. Okay, about here, I think, right? Yeah. I had just built E4, and then I used my stronghold action to build H1, The idea being to next advance ship twice and take B4 and I2. I did think some about the ordering of these things, and I took H1 because, again, I still thought the Darklings were going to like bridge over here, and I wanted to be here when they arrived so I could get some leech. But they didn't do that. They just took I2. Which is like, what the hell, guys? I thought green and black were supposed to be friends. I don't know. So, the Darklings really caused me some consternation based on, like, I don't know, I picked the wrong places to build, to dig, or whatever. If I had reversed the order here, and if I had built here first, and then planned to advance ship twice to get here, then they probably would have had to go this way and give me some leech, but I left them the option to not do that. So I was pretty miffed about that. But I advanced my ship anyway, planning to head to B4 and G9, I think? Yeah. And do I build a trading post here? I guess I could build a temple. Yeah, but I built a trading post. I was, at this point, yeah, now that I've built the dwelling on E4, I feel like super committed to E3 for my town. I don't know if it's really necessary to be so committed, but I felt that way. I was just so afraid of, like, I was looking at fakirs and saying, what do they want to do? They want to upgrade their carpet flight and get to here. It's like so beautifully laid out for them that they can get like 2 really easy tiles, and they don't have any more easy places to carpet fly to anymore. So they must want these, right? They're going to upgrade their carpet flight and come in, and I'm going to be screwed and not get a town. But they have to like upgrade their carpet flight first and then build. And so my thinking was, like, if I could set up a way where I can be like 2 turns away from taking this, I can still make that happen before they upgrade their carpet flight and then fly, as long as I get initiative. And also, by the way, the Ice Maidens are kind of scary. Like, they could take E3 as well, and they're red, so it's only 1 dig away for them. So I did a lot of calculating. Right. I wrote some stuff in my notes here as well, is what I'm looking at. I wrote a lot in my notes about this action. About E3 in general. So it's the Ice Maidens might take this. And one thing I was thinking about, here we are at like the almost, oh, I remember. My original plan was like I was going to build another dwelling this round because it's a dwelling round, and like, okay, I don't get any income for it, but I get 4 points, and then I'll, you know, when I build some trading posts in round 5, I'll start getting income from the dwelling I built in round 4, so it's like fine. But when I did that, I didn't have enough coins, or enough coins. I don't remember exactly. Something didn't work out. To like comfortably get E3 in time or something like that. Okay. Maybe I planned it out to the end of the game, and like I didn't have enough to get my sanctuary and my trading post and my dwelling. That seems hard to believe, but maybe. So instead of a dwelling, I was like, oh, what if I build a trading post? And that's kind of interesting, but it takes away 2 workers and also 1 less worker income. So I'll have just 7 workers. Right now, 8 workers is enough. Sorry, if I pass, I'll have 10 workers next round, right? And that's enough to triple hard dig this if I'm like in a really big hurry because of the fakirs, right? Or the Ice Maidens threatening to take this. And so I was strongly considering a pass in this round to let me jump on E3 for like 10 workers. Which sounds disgusting, but like there's town scoring at the end. There's the witches getting 5 points per town. There's the points on the town itself, and there's like the whatever other bonus the town gives you, a priest or the cult steps or whatever. And so E3 is like so important to me that it's worth basically giving up round 5 to get, is what I concluded. It would be very, very greedy. What I could do is like build my sanctuary in round 5 when you get scoring for it. And then round 6, I could dig this, and wouldn't that be nice? But I was like, there's just no way I'm going to get E3 if I do that. So I was thinking I should pass here to have enough resources to jump on E3 right away. But I eventually thought things through and decided differently. I decided, you know what? The Fakirs, what are they going to do again? Or the... Am I crazy? What? For some reason, I'm pretty sure the Fakirs give me some leech. But that just can't be. I'm confused about my note. Because my note talks about that I was considering building a bridge to E3 at this point. Or at the end of this round. But I obviously don't have enough power to do that. So I'm not sure what was the deal with that. And so maybe I concluded the Fakirs were about to give me some leech, but I don't see how. I don't know. Let's skip to the next action and see what happened. Ah, they did actually give me some leech. They built a temple here, converting a priest to a worker. Yes. Okay, so we were looking at a snapshot that was like in between my turns. If we advance to my actual turn here, I've got a bit more power, right? I've leached 2 from this position. So I have 1 power here and 4 here, which is just enough that I could burn 2 and build a bridge. And so what I said is, I know what I'll do. Here, let's actually, let's advance this one to my real action. So let's jump back 1, 2, 3 actions. Yes, here we are. So this is the position I was actually looking at. Oh, I leached 2, not 1. So I'm actually at 2, 3. Anyway, I need to burn only 1 power. And so I said, well, look at this. Like, I have... it's important for me to pass like after Fakirs so I can get the dig from them, I decided, because this dig is worth 3 workers to me, right? I'm planning to spend 9 workers digging. I'd love to get the dig. And I said, well, I'm about to build a trading post, and then the Fakirs will pass, and I'll take their tile. And so that'll be great. And it doesn't matter that I won't have 10 workers anymore, because I'll have this dig. So I said, great, build me that, oops, well, that skips a little too far. Build me that trading post, and then Fakirs will pass, and I'll get their tile. Let's actually though skip. God, I have no idea how many rounds to skip forward by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So if we skip forward to when that action happened, I realized the dumb blunder I had made, which is that the Fakirs, although they're out of workers and coins and priests and don't have any power actions they can spend anything on, they still hadn't used their dig, so they had another action left to stop me from getting their pass tile. And now I have this dilemma, which is what I wrote about in my notes. Which is, well, I want their pass tile, but the only way to get it would be to spend 3 power on a bridge to E3. Which is fine, I want that bridge, right? But if I take that bridge to E3, then the Ice Maidens, who, by the way, have a gigantic pile of resources, can very easily just dig E3, right? They haven't upgraded their digging yet. They're probably going to. But they have some shipping, and they have a bunch of power. They could take a power action to dig and take E3. And since at this point, I'm kind of feeling like I might be in contention for first. It's not clear whether I'm winning it or not, but I'm like doing okay. I think it would be in their best interests to, in fact, deny me E3. And I don't know if that's right, but I was scared about it for sure. So, I don't know. I ended up like kind of being caught. I built this trading post thinking, oh, I don't need 10 workers anymore because I'm about to get a dig action. And then I realized I don't get the dig action. And so like, now what do? I can't unbuild the trading post. But if I commit even harder by taking the bridge early, I might just be throwing away my 3 power, right? I just encourage the Ice Maidens to screw me. Which is even worse than throwing away the 3 power, because maybe they don't want to screw me that badly, but if I invest 3 power in it, they're like, fine, I'll screw you. I don't know. I think, again, I might be focusing too much on ways other players can thwart me. But I will say that like some stuff has occurred in some other games that have looked like this is an adversarial map, right? A lot more competition for space goes on, as I said in the beginning of this video. So I don't think it's at all hard to believe that if I'd built a bridge here, Ice Maidens might have prioritized digging out E3 right away. But I don't know. Maybe they don't, like looking back on it, maybe they don't actually want to spend a power action digging because they're going to upgrade their digs. Right, that's the thing Ice Maidens love to do because it only costs them 1 worker instead of 2. And they kind of need a lot of digs because they don't have any home terrain. So I think on reflection, I think I could have afforded this bridge here. It would get me the dig action, which I really would have liked. And the risk of disaster is just a single turn. Right, Ice Maidens have to, as their very first action, dig out E3. Maybe that's a thing they would do, but maybe it's not. So, I don't know. Alright, does that like cover everything? Yeah, that basically covers what I wrote in my notes. I don't know. So, this was like a big turning point, I guess. Aside from the nonsense about D1 and G4, which was a huge blow, like E3 and this possible 1-turn delay could have been a really big deal. But I didn't end up building the bridge, and I just took the coin action, or the coin bonus tile, which is kind of a bummer. And the good news, though, is that since I haven't built a bridge here, it's not so tempting for Ice Maidens to barge in, and Fakirs still don't have their carpet flight, so I actually took an off turn to advance dig. So, right, we talked about how I was going to use 10 workers to dig here. Well, but what do I do if I don't have 10 workers? I only have 8. Well, the good news is advanced dig costs 2 workers, and it gives you back 1 worker per dig that you take. So if you're planning to take 3 digs, then advanced dig is worker positive. You know, it costs coins and a priest, which is why you can't just like do it. But for me, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can advance dig before I go to E3. And that leaves me with enough to I have 5 workers to dig twice and build once. And then just kind of like do some other stuff this round. So again, I'm sad about missing my sanctuary in this round, but I think it was just too important to secure the town. I couldn't do both. And the sanctuary is only worth 5 points, whereas the town is worth like a ton. So that was what I prioritized. And then I double dug, or triple dug there. Or actually, oh yeah, I saved myself a bit. Oh right, because you have to dig 3 times, and I only have 5 workers for 3 times 2 is 6, right? So I took the spade power action to give me effectively 2 workers, and then dug that way. So very, very expensive dwelling for sure, but it was a pretty important one. And that's pretty much my round. I don't know. I used my witch action here, securing my connection finally. I'm not actually connected. I have to build my 3rd shipping, but that's easy. And I don't know. I passed and took a priest. There wasn't much else good available, sadly. And something I did want to look at this game is the Ice Maidens. By the way, remember they had a bunch of resources at the beginning of the round? Well, they took the coin action, so they had even more. And like after everybody else passed, they did like this. They advanced their priest a bunch. They dug a couple times. They advanced their dig all the way. They dug out these spaces. So like this is why I needed E3 this round. The Ice Maidens were set up to be a powerhouse of digging, and they would happily take this away from me. Just to deny me the town. It is slightly more desirable for them to have these 3 spaces because of cluster scoring. But I think taking E3 away from me would probably be worth it. And the Fakirs never did upgrade their carpet flight in round 5. I assumed they would kind of like be willing to build a town in like round 4 or something to get this, but they decided to delay all the way to round 6, which is fine, I guess. And once I took E3 from them, there's not really much reason for them to upgrade their carpet flight after all. You know, they get I-10, big deal. So they ended up not taking that town at all, which is something I thought Fakirs pretty much always took the carpet flight town, but I guess there can be situations where it's not useful, and this sure looks like one of them. They arranged things pretty well with just 1 flight. And now in round 6, I really don't have that much to do. The Ice Maidens arriving on E2 was a pleasant surprise, because one of the problems you might not have noticed with this town is, like, how does it get 7 power worth of structures? Sanctuary is 3, Trading Post is 2, Dwelling is 1, we need another. And I don't really want to spend a dig on E2, or more importantly, a dwelling supply, because I want my dwellings to be scattered for cluster scoring. So it was kind of going to be difficult. But then Ice Maidens gave me a neighbor so I could build a nice cheap trading post, and that solved that problem. I was considering taking Fire 2 as my favor, just so I didn't have to upgrade. And like, I don't get points for it, but, you know, I'm not going to get that many points from any of the other favor tiles anyway. I locked in the bridge early. Having passed early, I was like turn 1, I got the bridge. And I don't know, just got, I assume Air 2, Air 1 is the favorite tile I took. Yeah. Points for victory, for trading posts when you pass. And I upgraded this to a town, and I took the points town. I wanted the cult town, but the cult towns were all gone by the time I got to choose my town. And none of the others are much good at all. I just barely have enough resources lying around to advance ship myself. So I can't use another priest. I don't know. I could use it here maybe on water. And then it might be worth 2 points or 4 relative to Fakirs. But it might not if they send a priest passing me. So I decided not to do that and just grab the certain 2 extra points from the 11-point town versus the 9 points in 1 priest. And I mean, I'm pretty much done now. I actually have to send my priest to Earth or Air because I need to pass 2 power bars to get. No, I could have just passed 1, but I can't send him to either of these 2 because that doesn't pass any power bars. In order to get enough power to advance my shipping for the last time. So I tried Earth, reasoning, hey, I can actually stay ahead of Darklings if I get all the way here. They're not going to want to spend 4 cult steps passing me. But actually they had enough priests, and they had both cult actions. So I sort of misjudged there. I might have done better to just take 1 step on air. They ended up spending a priest here, and then 2 cult steps to get to 9. And I built 1 more dwelling, which, like, whatever. Of course I was going to do it. It doesn't really matter where. But this is the only... I guess it does matter, because it's the only green spot left. And then a bunch of more stuff happened, but I was passed already. And there's the final score. So I didn't come first. In fact, I barely hung on to 3rd. I would say that I had a lot of, like, issues over in the west here with securing hexes. And short-sightedness about Darklings digging and... maybe being worried about this. What happened to I4? That starts out gray. Oh, I wrote 14. I4, please. The Darklings, yes, they spent a single dig, but it was long after the Fakirs had passed, so they were just cashing in some points there. Okay. I thought they might have spited the Fakirs at some point that I hadn't noticed. So I actually... excuse me. Even as late as when I passed, I thought I was going to just be, like, barely hanging on to 2nd, 1 point ahead of Fakirs. They somehow managed to get down 1 more structure than I thought they were going to. They didn't have enough power to take another dig on, like, G10 or whatever. But I guess they turned priests into workers and hard dug or something? Like... I don't know exactly how this all happened. Oh, here. Here? Yeah. I guess they had enough workers and I just hadn't noticed that somehow. I don't know. It's weird. I was looking at what they could do, and I was mostly counting their priests as their limited resource. Like, how can they spend all their priests? But the actual limiting resource was digs, and then I saw they didn't have enough digs, and I was like, oh, great. But what I hadn't realized was they had enough workers that they could work or dig something, and in fact get that 1 extra dwelling down, which, if we look at... everyone's... oh, it doesn't even show. I forgot in the... whatever. So how many clusters do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clusters. Fakirs, I believe, also had 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's hard to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So that last dwelling got them 8 clusters, tying me, taking 3 points away. And they also, with it, I believe, passed me on network for 8, 9, 14. Yeah, and I only had 13. So that took another 3 points from me. And the Ice Maidens also managed to string together... they made it to 9 clusters. And tied me on network. So a lot of points that I was thinking I might get were taken away from me at the end by the enemies doing a good job of securing the hexes they need for endgame scoring. And Darklings don't feel to me like they should be close. Like, look at their piddly little thing. But, like, they just... I don't know. By taking 2 scoring favor tiles and doing a pretty good job of lining up with the round scoring track and doing okay on faction digs, like 20 is not by any means insane for Darklings. And they also did pretty okay on cults. They won actually 3 cults, which is insane. That never happens to me when I'm Darklings. So they found good outlets for their priests, I guess. Seems weird. But anyway, that's the first game of the season, and as I said at the beginning of the playlist, this is not as automated as the Terra Mystica tournament, so I can't, like, I can dig through a Google Doc to see how the other games are going, but that's not what I want to do. I just want to see like an overview. I don't want to click through a bunch of links and I don't know, whatever. So I don't even know if any of the other games in the league in this little league are finished or not. I don't think they are. But as I said, my games will probably finish up within the week, maybe 2 weeks at the outside. So we should be done by the end of the month, and I'll have those videos out to you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.